Really? Somebody is liking a black screen with no words? Okay. Fascinating. Is it a bot? Is it a bot? Or is it a karmic, which is a bot? Bot, thought. Anywho, this is for the collective. I think the title says, I think it says, what, seesaw? Anywho, this is for the collective that comes and see this at some point. I'm addressing you all. We got to keep the seesaw going. Remember, the name of the game in the karmic matrix is when they realize they cannot defeat you, it is distract you. When they realize that they cannot really, truly, they may not want to admit it out loud, okay, because pride and ego won't let them. So they will then essentially seek to distract you. And we have to constantly remind ourselves, because we're flawed, we're human, we bleed. And so as you're moving on, they're doing their regularly scheduled program. We know that. They're still doing spell work. They're still attacking. They're still tampering. They're still illegally doing a whole lot of illegal shit. Okay? And they are. Okay? Following you to the gym. All of a sudden, does it seem like lots of people from, these things seem random and they seem plausible, but they're anything but that. So what do? We address what we need to when we need to, but some things we don't address. And that's something we have to keep. It's a seesaw. It is the proverbial seesaw. They want to make you mad. They want to affect your vibration. And yeah, blah blah blah, 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 blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead. Same shit. And by the way, here's what I want to say. It's, remember, the things that we're to be doing, what are they? They're scared. Do you all understand that? Do you all understand that? It's the truth. I don't care what nobody says. It's the truth. It's the truth. Yep. Because ain't nobody that as hyper vigilant as these people than somebody that's scared. And when I say scared, scared is not always referencing the things that we think. Okay, some of us, we equate things to one thing. And it's like, okay, we're not always talking about physicality. Some are scared of their physicality. I would be too. I would be. If they fucked with yours, I would be. They should be. If they were smart. But they ain't. And how do I know that they're not smart? Because they're still at the same shit. Now, the thing about us being able to address what we need to when we need to and redirect is because they're afraid of you doing the things that's going to unravel, because they know you got some power in your hand. They know you do. They could be talking themselves up, hyping themselves up in their little groups and really trying to walk around showing a brave face, but the truth of the matter is they know. They know you got some power in your hand. They know that you done got some access and that you're playing a game, that you're essentially rolling with them, allowing, as a Sheolan master, allowing them to spaz. And then as you need to and when you need to, you unleash what you need to. That's what you're doing, collective. Because, see, everybody has been given an opportunity repetitively over and over again. Everybody prospectively, individually, everybody is. And so everybody's going to get the just desserts based on that. Them trying to take a passive role and all that. That's not going to help none of these motherfuckers. Not the ones that's doing that. Oh no, they can forget it. I'm going to just lay back and, no, that's a indecision is a decision. Indecision is a decision. Deciding to try to play the, straddle the fence to see, because that's what a lot of cowards do. Y'all have ever seen like, remember The Mummy Return? My son used to love this movie back in the day. But The Mummy Return with Brendan Fraser. And what's his name? Timo Neb, whatever the fuck the dude's name is that wanted to reincarnate. He was the mummy, but he wanted to reincarnate as Hemotep, bitch. I don't know. So remember, y'all, there was a scene at the very end, like when there was like this, the showdown was going on, okay, with Brendan Fraser's character and Hemotep's character and the Scorpion King, okay. The Scorpion King, was like a monster or whatever. And cowardly, Hemotep was cowardly. He was actually the one behind a lot of shit, was fighting Brendan Fraser, was trying to steal from the Scorpion King and doing some shit. But when the Scorpion King, when Hemotep realized that he wasn't going to be able to defeat the Scorpion King, when he realized that he was in trouble or might get got, he cowered. And then all of a sudden he pointed at Brendan Fraser's character, implying that he was the one that awoken him or stolen something from him or whatever. So you all are dealing with people that are cowardly like that, collective. There are some people that are trying to sit back and watch and play the fence and straddle the fence. I'ma lay low. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to participate any further, because this is some people that decide like, well, I'm not going to actively participate any further in trying to harm the person or interfere, but I'm also not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to stop the others from doing what they're doing, and I'll just lay low and see how it goes. And depending on which way it goes, that's the side I'm gonna lean into. The funny thing is, the people don't know that that's what some of these folks is doing within a little group, within a little culture, within a little community. They don't know that because ain't nobody gonna say that. They don't know that if the rubber meets the road and it started to look like they gonna lose, then those people who wanted to take that passive role gonna do just like Hemotep, and they gonna scapegoat the very people that they were once upon a time on, fully on board with. They're gonna be like, it was him, it was him, to save their own ass, when they can see that it's not going in their way. That's cowardly. I'm gonna say that for the record to all. That's a cow. Those are cowards. And I don't care if they're 6'4" and muscle bound. Those are cowards. Okay. I don't care what their position is in life. That's a coward. Okay. Y'all are dealing with that. Okay. Some of them that way, and then they got the forerunners that, those are the psychotics who, they're wild cards. They're gonna spaz out until they're in a straitjacket. Okay, they're wild cards. They're like dogs with a bone. They're gonna be like that to somebody that they have a rubber bib around their neck. Okay. So we have a combination of that. And because, again, it's not hitting, the things aren't hitting, they're still not hitting the way they used to, and they know it. They know it. So they're just resorting in some good old favorites that, could get to you the best way they can. They don't want you, collective, or me, They don't want us investigating, because some of us is in a position to have all day vigils if we want it, honey. If we want all day vigils, we are in position to have all them and they people to have all they little vigils. What do I mean by that? Everything about them, baby. If we want to. Because see, a lot of their arrogance and their so-called power is in that they feel like they are actually invisible. They feel like they can't be located. That no, you or no one else could find them, locate them, identify them, do anything. That's a part of what makes a lot of these people feel comfortable, on top of their connections in high-low places. Okay, so that's why they want you just fighting and upset. And if you don't want to fight or be upset and go back and forth, then they want you kind of just consumed with trying to clean up when maybe we don't even need to. Some stuff we address it, boom, bah, and back at investigating that ass on devices they don't have access to. I highly recommend, because see, I've done both. I've searched things on devices that I know they have access to, which I knew that it would then trigger something else. Ah! There's nothing that I do that is not without thought behind it. Even if it seems maybe unorthodox or can't quite figure out the angle, there is one. Hey, here's another thing. This is something I have to tell myself all the time too. Because I'm a passionate person, because I know who I am and I'm unraveling things and I'm moving forward, I'm sticking with things. They exploit everything. Follow me. Everything. But that's the name of the matrix. That's the name of the game. Even the good shit. See that? Not just the bad shit. Not just the part where it's like, okay, they got you upset. Oh my God, they're angry and they're going to go off. Or they're hyper vigilant. They feel like they got to be cleaning up mess all the time and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's not just that. Because when you bust past that, and when they see that they really can't keep you in that stupor, I'm going to do a video on, man, that's a whole nother video. I'm going to have to break this shit down in series. I'm gonna blow this shit out the water, nigga. I'm gonna blow this shit. I'm gonna fuck some shit up good and plenty. Oh, yeah. That's what folks signed up for. That's what they signed up for when they decided to come for me and my son. In other words, all their little tricks exposed. Which means what? Losing power. Losing influence. Back to what I'm saying. They exploit the good shit, y'all. They know you have a purpose and they exploit that. That's how some of these trashy motherfuckers been making money, bitch, because they sure ain't got us lick of fucking creativity. Don't got a goddamn personality if they can. Oh. Woo! That's how some of them been making money. So follow me. They exploited your personality because they don't have one. Their personality is stealing personalities. Oh gosh. That's their personality. Being able to copy and paste. Whole personalities. Whole individual identities. So they're going to exploit the good about you. Okay? even service. Like, that's why I'm constantly pulled or reminded of self-care is not negligence, or, taking breaks is not negligence, or you walking away from what it is that you believe strongly in. It's a part of what helps us to be able to keep doing it. And I have to tell myself that. So when they put you in an isolated, or at least they think they have, because it's going to be funny how this comes out and it's going to turn out to be some other shit. But the whole strategy, the whole thing of that is to exploit the fact that, okay, well, we'll get some information yet. We'll follow them, and get readings, because even though we trying to go around talking about they crazy, actually we relying on them to speak. Yeah. So that we can know what the fuck to do. Interesting. For somebody that they feel like, or they claim and go around the Americas talking about they ain't real. They ain't real, they're a fraud, or they not legit. Or it's funny because it seemed like nobody wouldn't want to be paying no attention to none of that then, if that's truth. You wouldn't think none of it. If the collective was a madman or a mad woman, as they are trying to really imply and trying to manifest and create by abuse, if that were true, play collective, and any one of you out there in the universe who clicks on this video and you ain't one of these trashy hoes, play. I know somebody gonna say she said a mouth. But look, play with this. Give yourself a image. I love imagery and skits and shit because it brings life to shit. Okay, so the running theme is you're a madman and a mad woman. Crazy, loco, you know what I'm saying? Fake, fraud, anything but what the truth is. Okay, that the running theme that the narrative that they manufacture, and I use that word for a reason. I use manufacture because you know how you manufacture a product? They had to manufacture a look of it because you're not that. So if this is true, see, this is where critical thinking, this is where you learn and find out who really has it and who don't. Because critical thinking would kick in. Okay. Well, if this person is, just picture somebody in an insane asylum. Picture somebody, they're barking at the air. Roof, roof. You know what I'm saying? I'm being silly, but I'm just trying to give an image, because this is essentially what they do, what they try to paint about the collective. So think of it as get an image. Okay, this is a person they're barking. They're barking at the air. They're biting at something that ain't around. Okay. They having full-fledged whole conversations with themselves out loud, even though I don't believe what they try to push about that, but we just got to roll with it for the matrix purpose. Okay. They're having a full-fledged conversation by themselves outside with, all parts different. Okay. So picture that. Okay. Picture them looking all worn and tethered, and picture them, with their hospital, insane asylum outfit on and a rubber bib. Picture them looking all glazed by the eyes, dead in the eyes. Okay? Now that you got that image, would that be somebody that you would be concerned about whatsoever? Would you invest tons and tons of money, time, energy, effort, meetings, collaborations, traveling the world in the 7 seas? Would that be something? Or someone that you would feel would you give any second thought to anything that they even said? Okay, because let's say this is about what's coming out of their mouths, the things that they're sharing. Would anybody really give that any, they wouldn't even care. Nobody would. Okay, you would look and you would go, okay, and you would go on to Taco Bell or wherever. You're not thinking twice about it. You're not writing down notes about it. You're not sitting in the car doing wheelies and circles. You're not concerned. You're not seeing what practitioner you can find who specializes in something for the 1,000th times, because it didn't went wrong 1,000 times before your whole ass was even on scene. But they just forgot to give you that piece of information. Nobody would be doing that. They wouldn't be contacted. You ain't need Al Sharpton, Don King and Jesse Jackson. You wouldn't need nothing, because you essentially, this is a person you'd be like, this is a madman. Are we really finna travel here? I'm making a point. Because people are giving away what they really truly believe and think because of their behavior, versus how they go around saying that. But their behavior, even if it's secret and they're keeping it from the pastor or the first lady, or they're keeping it from their head bossman, or they're keeping it from, the husband and a wife, or whoever that may not be ingrained and involved, they're spending all of their resources and other people's resources and putting a mortgage on a house because they need to finance some hitmen. You really gonna, nigga? Huh? Huh? But I thought you said they crazy. I thought you said that they loco, the cocoa for El Cocoa Puffs. I thought you said they're just a little project, motherfucker from the projects. I thought, okay, so you really finna spin. Why? Now critical thinking would step in right there, because ain't nobody stupid. What, did you do something to this person? Critical thinking. That's why I know most folks ain't activating critical thinking. That's exactly the fuck why I know. I don't even need nobody to come tell me. I don't need nothing to fall out the sky, bitch. That's why I know. Because critical thinking would start to really probe hard. Like, that don't really make sense. Because they shouldn't be a threat to you. Ain't nobody threatened by the image that I just provided in terms of what they're saying out their mouths. I had to specify that because, well, if they physically could, be physically violent and could physically, that would be something different. You would have to restrain. So, but nobody would be concerned about the words that come out of the mouth of such a person. They wouldn't be concerned that this person could have the power to actually ruin the reputation, because they would be feeling like ain't nobody shit. They got a rubber bib. They crazy. They biting at the air. They barking. Ruff! Nobody. They're going roof. They're growling, which I do all those things. I do growl, which is funny. That's why I'm kind of laughing at some of it, because it's like, okay, very well. So then let's roll with that. So you're finna spend thousands of fucking dollars on that? Thought you said did you just some crazy stressed out project nigga. Ooh. Nobody on your terms. So why do you need to address that? Why do you need to spend all your money? Why do you need a hitman? What are you afraid of? See, I'm going somewhere with that's how you get to the bottom. What are you afraid of? Because ain't nobody finna be hiring no hitman on some dumb shit. Nobody. Not even the fucking elites. You understand? Ain't nobody finna be doing that. Nobody. On some quack. It's like, man, I could be using this money for real people who can actually ruin me. You know, it's like, I don't think people ain't, yeah, we're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be traveling and following people. We're not going to be paying crackheads and meth heads and wannabe starlets. Yeah, we're not going to be doing that. Because it's not necessary. I'm going to drive it home until it gets on folks' nerves out there, till it's like a fucking broken record. When something and someone is not a threat, just local, you don't need a criminal enterprise. You don't need it. You don't need MK Ultra. You don't need MK Naomi. You don't need B2K. You don't need it. You don't need none of it. You don't need military psychological warfare tactics. You don't need it. When somebody is just crazy and wacko, you don't need to go to those means, because it's essentially a flop. You don't even feel a twinge of anything. When you picture the image that I gave, you don't feel nothing. You may feel sad for the person, but there's no vibe within you that feels, oh, this person could possibly mess up my life. So let me go find 12 retarded witches. To go do all the spells, bitch. Rituals, that's energy, by the way. For those of you who don't know, that's a lot. It's a lot. Especially the more sophisticated the crafts are, that's a lot. That's why I'm making this joke, because I'm like, who worth their salt? Is wanting to put that kind of investment into something that wasn't a threat to begin with. That's weak. That's nobody. That's powerless. That has no gifts, no capabilities. That's just sitting up there barking at the air. So this is how you all can know that all this stuff on you, even though they're doing all these rumors, manufacturing, doctoring up shit, abusing you and your children in secret so that there's physical manifestations of such in public. Well, a lot of that is changing now. And this is also why they are amping it up. You all maybe are not in such reactive abuse anymore. Maybe you're not getting as angry, or you're processing your anger in a different way. Maybe you are intelligently communicating it, like voiding out your emotions so that people can grasp. Maybe you're still doing the shit, versus, all the tactics that would tire you out. And because they're doing everything they can, they're doing everything that they can. These people are making themselves sick. They are. They're making themselves sick mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and some of them, it's starting to creep into physical. It's starting to slowly creep, and there are people that are around some of them that they can see it and they can tell, but they just might be scared to say something. So join me, collective, with, hey, I have to remind myself, pull back, take care of yourself. Okay, we're not neglecting what we are, but they're little black psychology, reverse psychology tactics and shit like that. They wait for us, collective, to get a clue so that they can go copy the message, so that they can plot and plan and scheme what their next moves are. Funny, huh? For people to be so gifted, why do they need to do it? If they're just so what they are in and on and of themselves, which means they should be able to just tap into whatever then. Why do they need to have access to your device? See, that's why I'm like, look, y'all, that's why I am not impressed with none of this shit. That's like a cheater sheet. Remember in school when you wanted to cheat for the test? And you wanted somebody to steal the key? The Y'all remember that old school? Like, ooh, somebody got the answer to the test. The cheat sheet. So that you didn't have to think, you didn't have to read, you didn't have to do nothing. All you had to do is essentially play the matching game, bitch, and go down the list. That's how I feel about these karmics. Yep, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Cancel that. That's how I feel. Because look, if you got all these people and all these organizations assisting you, you have a cheat code, so you ain't shit then, nigga. You ain't shit. Your ass ain't shit. Because look, you get the answer. If you get to go into people's phones, right? Because we know that they tap our phones, right? Okay, that's the cheat code then. Because you're sitting up there having access to their shit, then you not shit. Then they not shit. Simple as that. Period. The end of the story. They're not shit. They're not shit. Because how come, listen, we ain't tapped, listen, follow me, collective. We not tapped into nobody's devices. Follow me. Just play with this. We ain't tapped into nobody's devices. Follow that. We not hacking in to nobody's internet. We not hacking in to nobody's iPhone, to nobody's Samsung, nobody's, Google, nobody's iCloud. We ain't hacking they shit. We ain't stalking their platforms. We don't have 30 of our ragtag team of misfits reporting to us all of their every waking move. perspective shift, isn't it? They want the world to think that they're all that big, bad, and powerful. But it's when you unravel it like I just did, it's really looking a little bit pitiful. I'm going to tell you, I ain't never been one to be cool with just, from as a young woman up until now, I've never really been one to be impressed and or to be cool with the notion of ganging up on. It's something that has always bothered me when I would see it in life being, done. Because to me, that was the epitome of a coward. When you are all of what you claim to be, you don't need to resort to all such means and devices. And that's salt of the earth energy. That's why I'm not impressed with nothing that they do. It's like you got a cheat code. You're sitting up there hacking into people's shit. And I'm supposed to be impressed with what you claim to know. I don't think so. I do not think so. And you shouldn't be either, collective. Don't be impressed. There's nothing to be impressed. People hiding behind their power and their positions and their resources and their networks and their secrecy, that's a definition and an epitome of weak. Anywho, here I am. Let me remind myself. So now with that being said, as I have done my heart's call to share and pay it forward for any of you out there who ends up seeing this video, then guess what? I have to enact the things I say. I enact it before I say it, and I have to then continue to enact it after I'm finished saying what I'm saying. And do I do it perfectly? No, but I also share this with y'all. Because guess what? When you stop caring and giving a fuck about trying to appear a certain way, that's freedom. That's freedom. That's real freedom. Okay? All right. So now, y'all, make your judgment calls. Clear your energy. Keep doing all those things. Protect yourself. Viewer discretion advised. If you can get counsel, get it. If you can get restraining orders, get it. If you can get, I wish that I could. I'm trying to work through all the law things. I'm trying to get some access to various laws and things that I could, that could help me and my son. But in these situations, when you're dealing with coercive control and covert abusers, it's a little bit more involved. Okay. And that's something that I'm working on. So please, y'all, be safe. I'm not advising y'all to not be safe. Be grounded. Be practical. Okay. And address things. We're not escaping anything. But give intention to gently redirect yourself as many as times as it takes. Okay. With love in your heart for yourself and compassion. Considering what you're dealing with. Okay. Redirect yourself. Go, okay, where's my computer or whatever other secret hidden devices, y'all, whatever you're doing. Where's my shit at? Because I'm fencing to do my investigations, bitch. So I can make a list. They think they got names. I got fucking names. They think they got my MO. I got this. And some of the, some of that shit, y'all can work with it. Yeah. See, there's some stuff I won't say. But let's just say this. They'll find out as they continue to fuck with you. That's how that's going to work. They'll just simply find out.